New for the Accordance Library, the Exegetical Summaries series from SIL International is unlike any reference work that you've ever seen. Here I'm going to demonstrate some of the unique features of the Exegetical Summaries series using Matthew 18 as an example. At the beginning of each biblical chapter, you'll find a section summarizing pericope divisions or discourse units. So for instance, the Baker Exegetical Commentary on the New Testament, the Expositor's Bible Commentary, and the New International Commentary on the New Testament treat Matthew 18:1 through 19:2 as one unit, but the New American Commentary, the Word Biblical Commentary, and the Revised English Bible separate out Matthew 18:1 through 35, and so on. What you'll notice here is a very detailed summary of discourse units from both commentaries and translations of the Bible. The Summary Exegetical series includes its own semi-literal translation from the UBS Greek New Testament or BHS Hebrew Bible rather than starting with either original language text. The use of a translation opens this reference work up to those who have studied original languages as well as those who have not. This semi-literal translation is not one that will be useful for public reading, but it's excellent for study. Words added for clarification are in parentheses, much like the use of italics in the KJV or New King James Version. Translation of the second person pronoun you is distinguished between singular and plural use. Single words in the original text that require more than one word to accurately translate in English are represented by words joined together with hyphens. Original language words that have to be inserted into an English phrase joined by hyphens will have spaces around them. Footnotes in the translation tie to the lexicon section directly underneath. Most emphasized Greek or Hebrew words include references to their coverage in major lexicons. In the case of Matthew 18:10, the reader finds references to Ioannidis' Greek-English lexicon of the New Testament based on semantic domains, and the 1979 edition of A Greek-English Lexicon of the New Testament and Other Early English Literature by Bauer, Arndt, Gingrich, and Danker. In addition to these lexicons, the Exegetical Summaries series also provides a survey of how these words are treated in translations and commentaries. When we began considering how to best incorporate the Exegetical Summary series into Accordance, it seemed obvious that we would want to hyperlink as much as we could to resources available for the Accordance Library. So if I hover over or press and hold a reference such as that from the Ioannida, I see that content in the instant details. The same can be said for translations of the Bible, such as the NIV or the NLT, or even the Word Biblical Commentary. If we do not have a reference work available for Accordance, the abbreviation is defined by its source information in instant details. And of course, clicking on any of those hyperlinks will open that Bible translation or reference work to the appropriate entry or reference. However, there was one major reference work in the lexicon section throughout the New Testament volumes that was never available in Accordance, the older BAGD lexicon. So what did we do to remedy this situation? We've hyperlinked the older BAGD references to the newer BDAG. Obviously, page and section numbers are ignored because those often changed between editions. However, the BAGD links will direct the reader to the equivalent entry word in the BDAG lexicon. As far back as history records such things, reading the Bible has always led to both questions and disagreements about the answers to those questions. A good commentary will tackle various interpretations and disagreeing viewpoints, but with so many commentaries available today, how do you keep track of all the commentaries themselves? Here is another place where the Exegetical Summary series stands unique among biblical reference works. Following the lexicon section, the reader will find a series of questions that can be asked of the Bible verse with a series of answers from modern commentaries. Regarding Matthew 18:10, the Exegetical Summary series offers 3 questions with answers from commentaries. What is meant by despising one of them? Who were these little ones? And who were their angels, who always see the face of Jesus' Father in heaven? The inclusion of these subjects as questions have almost a catechetical feel to them. At the same time, there's also a rabbinic flavor to this section, especially as demonstrated in this 3rd question, which surveys different answers to the question of the identity of the little one's angels. So 3 options are provided here. This passage does not provide sufficient information for us to conclude that each child or believer has one or more guardian angels. These are guardian angels, and angels refer to the spirits of believers who have died and are now in the presence of God. So how do you know if this series is for you? Although the Exegetical Summary series has a specific target audience of Bible translators, this series will be useful to a much larger group than these. Students, especially those beginning language studies, will find the lexicon sections invaluable. Pastors and anyone who regularly consults biblical commentaries will appreciate the summaries of interpretive positions found in the question sections. And as already mentioned, this resource is purposefully designed to be accessed by those who have studied biblical languages and those who have not. With well over 500,000 links, Accordance users will find that the Exegetical Summary series is probably the most integrated reference work we have ever released. I recommend moving it to the top position in the Commentaries folder in your Accordance library so as to get quick access to it from the info pane. The Exegetical Summary series can practically serve as an info pane within the info pane. When used by itself, the Exegetical Summary series can be searched specifically by reference, titles, English content, scripture, Greek or Hebrew content, transliteration, translation, manuscripts, bibliography, authors, or page numbers, thanks to the meticulous content tagging of our developers, something unparalleled on any other Bible software platform. The Exegetical Summary series can also be used on our mobile versions of Accordance by itself or in a parallel column with a biblical text. In Accordance Mobile for iOS, on an iPhone or an iPad, the hyperlinks work the same way as on the Macintosh or Windows versions of Accordance. So if I tap the BAGD reference, BDAG is launched, and I can tap the arrow in the top left corner to go back. The Exegetical Summary series contains 30 volumes, including all New Testament books except for Acts and John chapters 10 through 21, plus the Old Testament books of Joel and Malachi.